the identification. They cannot even, and if I say that this is my name, and they cannot even trace me. If I don't have a collateral, no bank will lend money. So there's no how people are going to have increase. Bank is going to lend people to borrow to buy a mortgage or something like that. It's not going to happen in Nigeria. We still have a long way to go. That's my contribution.
All right, thank you very much.
This scheme has nothing to do with deposit money banks. You know, it has nothing to do with microfinance. And this scheme has, you know, it's not asking for the type of. You see why they are using microfinance institutions is to remove the requirements of landed property collateral.
Yes.
They've made collateral. You know, you can have group collateral. What may happen? Like 4 of us here now can approach a micro bank.
Yeah.
And as a group, they will recognize it because it operates in our community. And your image is at stake. So I will not need you to bring your landed property documents for me to give you a loan. How much do you need to do that poultry farm? 100,000, 50,000. They give it to you. Then when you pay back, he gets. And this man will put pressure on you to pay back.
Yes, because he's on the queue.
He's on the queue. so it makes it work.
Now, let me ask you again, because you mentioned something regarding the statistics. When you look at the way it is structured, in terms of the way microfinance institutions, the way they're structured, is there no collateral whatsoever required? I know Mr. Ede mentioned a scheme like Monlo, where you come and collect 30 or is it Monlo Cabo kind of thing? So when you have a product Monlo Cabo, which means I'll take your money and they go come, is there any collateral? Is there any collateral involved? You don't put down anything?
No, nothing.
Well, what happens is, I know the CBN has launched a 3-tier know your customer system, right? So for each level of customer, low, medium, and high value customers, there are different kinds of requirements. Even in terms of giving loans, a man who is going to ask for a loan of 50,000 isn't going to ask, the bank is going to insist on the same type. And most of these people it's association lending or quick payday type or whatever, cooperative type. So people are coming based on recommendations.
And like you mentioned earlier, that it will be mainly people that they've done business with before who have proved
who are recommending and saying, this is my friend, this is my cousin, my sister, my friend.
Yes.
So
it's man, no man.
No, for crying out loud, it's microfinance bank. And microfinance bank, they have 3 categories. The unit,
the state and the federal.
The state and the federal. And the unit is in a community, and we all know ourselves. And they're not just giving loans. The low-income person, the vulnerable group, is not just the loan that he needs. He also needs financial advice. The man wants to travel from Onitsha to Lagos to buy some things. He doesn't want to carry the money. Yeah. You must be able to transfer such funds to him so that when he gets to Lagos, he accesses his money easily and buy his goods and move on. So there are all other services attached to it. But then there are some challenges. Like he said, multiple taxation,
inconsistent government policies,
corporate governance, adherence, managerial skill, and infrastructure.
We will look at all of those 4 points in just a moment, but let's quickly take this call. Ayomide, is this still on the line? I think we might have lost Ayomide. Good morning. I think we lost Ayomide. Okay, now let's look at those 4 points you just mentioned.
Infrastructure, and particularly power.
Yes.
Look, let me say this. If there was constant supply of power, you know, the entrepreneurship of the Nigerian would have exploded, would have been another Indonesia or Malaysia. What is holding Nigeria back today is power. Believe me, you know, the woman doing gari, the woman grinding pepper, you know, the hairdresser using generators, the tailor using generators and all that. But if there was power supply, you will see Nigeria. The day there's constant power supply, you know, microfinance and all these things that we are talking about will explode. Nigeria will definitely attain the 2020
Objectives.
That is
standard.
if there is power before 2020, and we're praying that it will happen.
No, we've been told there will be power by December 2014.
Another point that Adedayo, the first caller, had mentioned
Yes.
was about identity.
Yes.
I mean, we do know for a fact that, the CBN has been trying all its best, because I mentioned at the beginning, under Governor Sanusi's tenure, a lot of the focus has been on financial inclusion, because there's no point giving loans to people that can just disappear. The CBN has launched a movable collateral registry. They've done so much to try to say, how do we capture everyone? I mean, just very quickly, 64% of adult Nigerians don't have any type of
access to
touch point with financial institutions. Less than 10% of MSMEs right today have any type of facility from banks. So the whole idea is, how do we include all these people? And you can't do that without, identification. So the point Dio raised is quite good, but I do know for a fact that the central bank is taking steps to address all of that.
Okay, well, having said so much about that, now in terms of the training that is required for micro, small, and medium enterprises, that issue is still got to be addressed, because the man that wants to be able to sell recharge cards and then be able to think my life should not be at risk consistently chasing vehicles, at some point he will want to be able to take a break. And we have a feeling of our idea of taking a break is go to parties, spend money, and in a way that may not be sensible.
Adding.
Yes. So now, how do you train people to be astute in the management of their fund?
Brilliant. So we have two sides to that. On the supply side, we have the banks. The CBN has launched a competency framework. They've identified about 35, I think it's 35 key control functions, how to train the bankers, those who go out to actually meet the customers, on areas where they are lacking in terms of skills.
Financial services.
Yes. On the side of the customer, the CBN has been very proactive in financial literacy. Very, very proactive. The central bank governor, other governors, bank CEOs, they're rolling out now on how do we go to the schools, the universities, different fora to try to talk to people about saving, about planning, personal finance, all these key issues.
Sorry to interject. Are we still at that stage of trying to see, or do we have a clear scheme and set of agenda that we're looking to implement?
Oh, I do know the central bank governor, for example, has already gone to a number of schools to teach about financial literacy in classrooms, taking questions, bank CEOs. It's cascading down. The central bank is doing what it is. The SEC for investors is doing what they are, because the whole idea is, how do we make Nigerians, because one lesson from the financial crisis 08, 09, 10 is people need to become more savvy in the way they plan for their future, retirement, school, key life events, as the case may be.
Okay.
So financial literature is major under the CBN.
We have another caller on the line. Tim calling from Abuja. Yes, please go ahead and make your point.
Okay, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, go on, Tim.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Go on, Tim.
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay, my name is Tim from Abuja. Hello?
Please go ahead.
Okay. I want to ask a question to the young man. I enjoyed the way he talks, but these things look real when you discuss them on TV, but when you come to reality, you find out you don't see it on ground. Now, we have a situation. I know there was a time money was given to Bank of Agri-Gear. Then you discover that some people were coming to collect this money. Actually, this money is meant for agricultural purposes, but they are collecting this money to go and start buying clothes, buying shoes, to do other trades. So the idea of using it for agriculture becomes a failure. You see them come together as group, but they access this fund, they share it within themselves, they go and start buying shoes from Aba, go to Lagos to sell, buy from Lagos, come to Aba to sell. And you now ask yourself, how is it that those who actually designed this program didn't know that there are people who will do this, and who is permitting this to go on? Because if there's a check and balance, somebody should have returned back to say, okay, I want to see your farm, I want to see what you have done with the funds we've given to you. And nobody has come back to ask them for these things. And the next thing you hear, the government say that the scheme is a failure. It's not actually that the scheme was supposed to be a failure, but the people who were implementing this scheme, the staff, the people who